He's coming. He's coming. Cameron!
Hey,
Hello!
how's it going?
Welcome. I'm good, good, good. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well. And I got a shirt that I ordered about a month ago and it just came in the mail today. So I'm gonna show you. It's on the back, okay?
Okay, let me see.
Can you see?
Oh, black. Come over a little bit. Does it say Black Father?
Yep.
Ooh, and I love the crown that's on top. You are ready, and it's nice. I like that.
Oh
Where
yeah,
did you get that from?
it came up actually. It's funny. It came up in a Facebook ad that my cousin tagged me in,
Okay.
and it's a site called Black and Proud 365. I was like, with everything going on. Actually, I think this was before all that was, that's been going on. I was like, I want to help support more Black-owned businesses. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and copy the shirt right here. So actually, I got another one as well. But yeah, I wore this shirt particularly for this interview.
Well, yeah, it's perfect and it looks nice. And I like that it's black and it's represented because it is y'all week, Black Fathers Rule. And so I am so ready to get started. Tell us, who are you? Who is Mr. Cameron? How did you start, your brand? Who are you? Do you have any children? I hope you got a child. How many children do you have?
All right, so I'll start. I'm Cameron. I'm originally from Ashtabula, Ohio. It's a small little town near Cleveland. It's about an hour east of Cleveland, right before you get into Pennsylvania. But now I'm living in Columbus, Ohio, in the Columbus, Ohio area. And I have one daughter who is 2 years old. She is very rambunctious, to say the least.
I
She
love
is
that
not shy
word.
at all. Oh yeah, she's very confident, but she is not shy at all. She'll run up to anyone and say hello. So yeah,
Well, awesome, awesome, awesome. What's her name?
her name's McKenna.
McKenna, I like that. I like that. So
I,
we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Again,
okay.
I would like to thank you for participating with us. We do a live every Thursday. And for those who have just joined and they're wondering who is she, I am that mom, and they call me Village Mom Keisha. And I am so excited to be delivering, this message to you guys on today. We are a community over here at the Village to uplift and inspire mothers within our community. We do that through outreach projects and
Okay.
apparel. And I'm so excited to be booming. This is our we are a year in, but it seems like it's been going for a minute. And I'm so thankful for our followers that are here on today. And I'm so excited for your community that have joined us. And so with that being said, your community is Supportive Fathers. What is
Yes.
that? How did you come up with that name? I love it. Supportive, supportive, supportive.
Okay. Well, a few months back, back in January, I was like, I want to kind of do something because I've done different projects and things like that, but I wanted to spearhead my own project, and I was trying to figure out what exactly do I want to do, and so then I kind of just did some internet searches and realized like there is not a ton of information as far as like the trials and tribulations that men go through, especially fathers. I mean, some of what's out there already. And of course, I provide memes for satire, things like that, but a lot of it's either satire or it's just kind of like just be a good dad. And I know as a man, there are a ton of information or a ton of things that fathers can do and the things that we go through, especially Black fathers, I mean, fathers in general. And I wanted to be able to provide some resources and help inspire dads everywhere to be the best version of themselves. And so, and the way I parent is going to be different than someone else. But at least if I can go ahead and provide something and realize like, okay, well, that's an idea that I could take away. And even for myself, I'm learning from, people through my daily questions I post up, learning and like implementing different things. So just for me, I just want to help men be the best version of themselves, while also not taking a backseat to raising children. Because I mean, in today's day and age, us fathers need to be there for our children more than ever. And so that's kind of how I came up with Supportive Fathers. And the name, I was just like, supportive fathers. I'm like, all right, I got to go with it.
It works. It works. It works. So how long have you guys been in existence?
I've been doing this for like 3 months, believe it or not.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, good job. You're doing an awesome job and keep the momentum going. Something I like to tell our mothers is MOM, momentum on momentum, and you just keep it up. Keep striving whenever it gets hard. You lean on your community, and they'll be sure to uplift you because we have to lean on each other in order to get through. It's a village
Of
for
course,
everything.
of course.
So I'm proud of you.
Well,
I'm
thank
proud.
you.
So keep striving. Yes. So I have this one question, and it's: do you believe a father should be equally involved in the child life as the mother? I
Uh,
believe I know the answer, but just reassurance is all that we need.
all right. So for everyone out there, I'm going to tell you, yes, most definitely, men, fathers should definitely uh, be equally involved in their children's life. It's funny that you asked this question because I think I was actually on a podcast earlier this week, and I was talking with a pediatrician, and it was like just like 50 years ago. So 2 generations ago, men weren't even in the delivery room when the child was born, and now like we're being in the delivery room and things like that, and it shouldn't just we shouldn't take a backseat to raising our children. I want to be involved in my child's life as mom. I want to be there for the doctor's visits, and actually I have a setup that I mostly take my daughter just because of work schedules to the doctors. It's not nothing against my wife or anything. It's just how it worked out.
Right.
But we shouldn't be a second class citizen, and mothers aren't supposed to be the sole I guess carers for our children. That's kind of a sexist view. On top of, I love my daughter, so why wouldn't I want her to know that I'm there? So I'm her number one fan, and I'm there in her corner. I'm not going to just, oh, mom can take care of that at the school. If mom's not available, then you just have to wait. That's not. I view that as not okay. And so my answer is most definitely men should be equally involved with their children as moms.
I agree. I agree. And that reassurance is definitely needed. And it's needed from a perspective of saying, hey, wife, or hey, mother, I value you, but I also value my child. So let me be equally involved in there. And
Mm-hmm.
then I also noticed with that when a father is equally involved in a child life as the mother, it makes parenting so much easier. And yes, they say co-parenting, but that works too.
Yeah.
However, when they are, like you said, taking the children to the doctor's appointment, going to school conferences, I've noticed that the behavior of the child is a lot different. The child
Mm-hmm.
overall is a lot happier when it's an equal thing. And believe it or not, children are very, very, very smart. So they pick
Mm-hmm.
up at a young age that, hey, both of my parents are here, and I know that if I need to tell daddy to do this, he's not going to say, go tell your mom, ask your mom to do this or do this, because he knows just as much as the mom knows in order to take care of that child. So I like that. Good perspective on that particular thing. But another thing that I have as it relates to our Black fathers, and it's so important now, that is we work on changing stereotypes.
Right.
But the stereotypes of a Black father and fathers in general is that they're deadbeat, they're not there, they're lazy, they're this, they're that, they're thugs, they're in the street.
Mm-hmm.
How, as a father, a Black father at that, how do you view stereotypes, and what are things that you want us to know in order for us not to stereotype you guys?
As far as stereotypes, but first, like what you said, as far as there being a stereotype and things like that, I just want to address this real quick. And I'm a person that loves doing research, and I can tell you, and it's across all demographics, that it's a growing epidemic of children being raised by single mothers, and we see the outcomes of that, whether if you're white, Puerto Rican, Black, whoever, and we've seen some like kids having some very unique circumstances and behaviors as a result of that, where like we said before, that if mom and dad were both involved, behaviors are not as extreme. And now, as far as like overcoming that stereotype for myself, I try to lead by example. I try to have conversations with folks like, hey, like I'm doing this with my daughter. Like I like for myself, I would tell you like my daughter has probably done more in the first year of her life, she's 2 now, than I did in the first 18 years of my life. Just because I want to be that person that is supporting her, but also supporting my wife in taking an active role as far as picking up from daycare, um, um, taking her to the doctors and things like that. And I do think that those stereotypes can be we can overcome them, but we have to make sure that we're active in our child's life, in having those conversations with people, so that way people don't assume that Black fathers, like, the joke, oh, you're going to go to the store and never come back. Well, I've came back many times and took my daughter with me to the store, because I'm not going to stand for any stereotype that diminishes fathers. Because for me, I love being a father, and like I said, through my blog, I want to inspire other men to also do the same. And it's important to me that my daughter's happy, and I know that children are most happiest when they have both their parents around.
Right. I totally agree. So being that you became a father almost 2 years ago, and your relationship with your father, and because I know you said your child has done more than you have done in 18 years of your life, did you have a good relationship with your father?
All right, so I'm gonna have to be honest with you. He's in my life now, but he wasn't in my life for the first 22 years of my life. He actually came to my college graduation, and I'm not saying that he's a terrible person or anything like that. He actually went to college himself, but he just wasn't there for me. And I would also say that I remember being a teenager and making a promise to myself that I'll always be there for my child. Whenever that time comes. But like I said, my mom never badmouthed him or anything like that. To me, he wasn't there. I didn't hold any hostility. But I knew from that I wanted something different for when my daughter was going to grow up, and now she's going to be able to have that.
Right. That's so important, and I commend you for taking that step up, and I also commend you for not letting that trial dictate how you were going to be as a father in a negative perspective. So I'm so excited for you, and I'm excited for her to grow and to know you full and active. We're going to continue to protect our Black fathers so that you can make it home to her even when you're not with her. So thank you for changing your view and perspective as it relates to that. But I also, when I think about that, it comes to mind, do you think today's fathers have it harder or easier than, back in the day growing up? Even, being that your father wasn't always there, I'm sure you probably had mentors, or you saw friends and cousins who daddy was present. How did you view that?
I'm sorry. There's a few different thoughts that come to mind when you ask that. I think in some aspects, parenting in general, I think, can be harder in some aspects because of social media. Because you have people on both sides, moms, dads, tearing each other down, or someone being vindictive, or using the children as weapons, like withholding children, or if you don't do this, then I'm going to take you for the max for child support. And I'm not saying most women do that or anything. I'm not suggesting that whatsoever. But there's a small amount of people that do that, or dad giving up because him and his girl didn't work out. So I'm just gonna stop trying, and then in turn that hurts your child, because then people get on your business on social media and things like that. So in that aspect, I do think it's harder in a sense when the relationship kind of sours. Now, I do think, and this is a different perspective on this, I think that there's some differences too with being a father. Like, for example, paternity leave. I know not a lot of people talk about that, but more and more companies are going to start offering paternity leave because they understand the value that a dad can have in being able to spend that time for those first few weeks or however long with their child, and even just being a stay-at-home dad. And now, if as how do I want to say this is there's nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home dad. It's just how, just like a stay-at-home mom and the dad works, if the mom works. And I salute you guys for that are taking their career seriously and getting ahead. I'm all for that. And then, dad end up staying home. That's just dad's contribution to the family versus mom staying at home. So as long as you're doing something to help the family, I think that's another perspective as far as being a stay-at-home dad being more acceptable. It's not like dad's being lazy. It's just that's just how it works. If it works for your family, that's how it works, and that's okay.
Right. So this came to mind too. When a father is not currently present or as active in the child's life, and it's really important too. I think a lot of them might have thought about it during quarantine because they had a lot of downtime, to be at home and to do family activities. How or what's a good way for them to approach the situation to a mom for them to, become more active in the child's life without being
Oh, of course. I mean, I could speak as far as my experience with my father. I know for him, he came to my college graduation. But and from that point forward, he reaches out. He makes sure that he's a grandfather to my daughter, and just checking in and making phone calls and coming to visit because he lives in Cleveland. At the time I was living in Erie, Pennsylvania, so he would drive up to see. And so my advice to fathers that may not have been around, start today. Don't wait any longer, because the longer you wait, the more resentment that could possibly be there. And if there is some resentment, just respect the fact that there might be that might need some space, because time usually is a big healer of a lot of situations after tempers may calm down or whatever. So I really say just make sure that you start today. And if, hey, I need some space, you need some time to think about it, go for it. Don't wait 2 weeks before you reach back out, but maybe hey, I'm thinking about you. Whenever you're ready, just continue checking in, and then start to facilitate the relationship as your child becomes more comfortable, because there might be a lack of trust in there, and you have to build that up. I mean, trust can come crumbling down in a relationship super fast, and so it's important that you go at their speed and their pace of allowing you to come back in. And that would be my suggestion for fathers, because I know my father did that with myself.
Gotcha. Well, good job. Let's switch it around.
Okay.
Quarantine has been going, and we are getting ready to, go back out and into the public and be more involved. But then we also have some that will continue to stay in. What have you enjoyed most about quarantine? Is there any games or tips that you can give us to add to our list? What have you guys been doing?
All right. So for myself, because I know I'm a high school counselor as well. So with school shutting down, I've been home for however many months now, since March, and in Ohio is one of the first states to really shut down everything. So for myself, I've been home every day with my daughter, and I know that I would never get another time period where I can be home with my daughter for this many months. So her and I might have went out with her twice, because she's 2, so she's gonna touch everything. I want to make sure I protect her and everything. But for myself, we just been hanging out, like doing dance parties, being silly. I play with her little stuffed animals with her. So like she'll take her little she has a ton of unicorns. So she'll take her unicorns and then she'll wrap it as if she's I can't even think swaddling it, and then she'll and I just participate and do that with her. Or now that she's like understanding the write and everything, she wants me to write her name for her all the time. So I've just been doing different activities with her that I know that she really enjoys. And for myself, I've really enjoyed the time and the bond. We've been potty training, so instead of just her going to daycare, what's that?
Said, how is that going?
Oh, well, actually, so potty training actually hasn't been too bad. She just turned 2 last month too, so I'm really proud of her. But like actually on Sunday, we went to visit my wife's family. We went to a very, very small wedding in Pennsylvania, and we were driving back, and my daughter was crying hysterically. We didn't have no idea what was going on. And then she's like, the first time she verbalized she had to use the bathroom. So I have to pee. And then we took her, and actually she went number 2. But I was so proud of her. Because we've probably been at this about 7 weeks now, and you know that she's verbalizing, and before she would motion, she had to use the bathroom. But for me, during this whole quarantine, this whole COVID situation, I don't have to rely on daycare being the ones to always praise her for going to the bathroom. I'm actually home to be able to like, good job, baby, like, you know, cheer her on. And again, like I said, like before, I'm never going to get that time ever again. And I'm so grateful, you know, this is, you know, it's a terrible situation that's going on in our country. There's a silver lining, and being being one of those people to actually walk her through that instead of having someone else do that for me.
Right. I tell you, this time has been, you know, like you said, I want the country to be repaired and back in good standing with everyone. I want unity amongst us all. But the amount of time I have been able to spend with my children have truly been a blessing, and from all aspects. And I think I have a mom on the line, a village mom, and she actually brought a different perspective. For the longest, my child had been talking about camping.
Okay.
You know, I have never been camping. You know, before my parents never. I've never slept outside, so I've never been camping. I'm not a wilderness person. I will go outside, but that was, anyway, the farthest from my mind. And so she called up and she was like, I think we should camp in the backyard. And when I tell you, that was one of the best times and highlights during the quarantine for my child. So to village mom Shantia, thank you so much for doing that, because Carson is still ranting and raving about it. Another thing I would recommend for individuals to do who are running out of ideas during the quarantine is try to get you a projector off of Amazon. They're not that expensive, and have that outside too, because we did that as well, and that was another highlight from that moment. So try that. I know everybody may be tired of exercising, but exercising is good, so definitely do that, but add a little spice to it. Do things that you normally wouldn't do during this time, and you will come out of it, you know, well. And even though, like I said, the public is opening back up, continue to be involved in your children's life and do activities that are spectacular and that people don't, you know, generally think about doing. So, Cameron, any advice for future dads?
I actually wrote a blog post about that. Actually, it was I wrote it as like a letter. And I won't go too in depth with the, you know, they can come to my blog and read it, of course. But some tips I give, first and foremost, your partner. You're gonna and I had to learn this the hard way, because you know, there's a lot of changes that's happening inside of a woman, and you have to understand that those are hormonal things. So when she's tired and she doesn't want to do something, or if she's irritable, it's not because she wants to be mad at you. It's because her body's changing. There is so much going on inside of her, and especially for first time mothers, that's a very hard thing. And I witnessed that firsthand. I had to be honest, like, I wasn't the most patient at the beginning. It wasn't until probably till the second trimester that I really like understood, everything that was going on, because that was my first time. You have friends, or family members that are pregnant, but when you're living with someone and they're pregnant, and I know for women, you probably have a world full of emotions. I think that's very important for a man to really understand that they're not doing it to make you mad. It's more or less that she's scared as well. So being that support and just say, hey, let me know if you need anything. If there's certain smells, like my wife, because she couldn't stand any meat, so I couldn't cook any.
Wow. Go vegan.
Yes. So I had to wait until like she would leave or something to cook something I actually wanted. Let's see. There's going to be a lot of parties. There's going to be a lot of people reaching out. And at times it could be overwhelming. But just know that those people mean very well. And they're just excited for you. And I would just say, if you just find some resources that at least expose you to what you're going to be like life after the pregnancy. I mean, nothing prepares you for having a child until you have a child. Like, you have to have that experience to really fully understand, but you can get some ideas, and there might be something that like, oh, I've read about this, at least kind of just to expose you a little bit. But like I said, you're not going to know about not getting enough sleep until until it actually hits you.
Right. So, do me a favor. You just talked about your blog information. Can you verbally tell the individuals how they can locate that particular blog?
Okay, yeah. So actually, if you go to my blog, Supportive Fathers, you can just click right on the blog tab, and there's a couple different ways. So if you go to the blog tab, it has a list of all the blogs, so you can just scroll till you see it. Or you can just, I believe it's under the parenting tips tab, and you'll see the blog post right there about, I think it's titled, Dear to all my future fellow dads. As far as like additional tips. Yep. And it's at supportivefathers.com.
Okay, gotcha. That's what I needed. So, we're talking about support. And again, it's you guys, we are celebrating fathers. How can we as mothers support you guys? I know sometimes we may seem as if we are, not appreciative all the time, or we may have a hormonal issue with mind, or we're bogged down with so many different thoughts. Mm-hmm. How we want you guys to know that we value you all so very much, but how can we better help you guys?
I say, it's not even just you guys. I say as men, I think the biggest issue in relationships is communication. Communication, I don't know. I always harp on making sure that you have good communication, and I can work on that in my relationship. But say you're having a bad day, and then or if I'm having a bad day and we take it out on each other, and then you start this whole cycle of, oh, I'm gonna be petty, you be petty, and then it doesn't get anywhere. And I'm sure you've probably been down that rabbit hole. I've been down that rabbit hole.
Keisha.
Yeah. But I just say, even just for men, just make sure that you communicate what's on your mind. One, you're gonna feel so much better. And actually, I thought about this as far as like, and I'm segue back to one of your previous questions about difference in men. Is I think just being able to communicate what's going on, because if you internalize that, you're going to you might end up taking it out on your partner in different ways, whether it's being passive aggressive or being aggressive or whatever. It can really hurt your relationship, and so that's when that anxiety and that the depression can really set in if you self isolate. And I think for a relationship to work, you know, for women and men, is to make sure that you communicate your needs, your thoughts, what exactly is going on, so that way your partner can at least understand your perspective or why something might be happening or whatever. And communicate what exactly need for me at this moment, because like I said, if you or if I'm upset and then I come home and I just take it out on you, then you're gonna be mad at me. But if I'm upset and I say, hey, can you give me 10 minutes and then come back and check with me, that right there, I think, is a way to help support your partner. Or if I say, hey, or if you say you're upset and you say, hey, can you give me a back rub? I don't know. Whatever it is that you need at that moment, I think that is one of the biggest keys as far as being able for women to support, but also us supporting women.
Right. I agree with that. I agree. Communication is the key to a lot of different channels, whether it's, you know, with your family, your workspace, or, you know, just even in the community. Learn how to communicate effectively. But let's boil this down, because another issue that I have as a mom is I know the things that I need and, you know, I want. And being that we know fathers are so important, some mothers have the tendency to get a shabby gift. So we are going to squash this now. Tell us some things or some gifts or some activities that you guys would like to do surrounding Father's Day.
Oh gosh, that's a hard question.
I know. Look, I know. Sometimes you say, I know every you know, the millennial fathers are like, I do not want no tie. I don't wear no tie, you know, all the time, or I might not want these slippers. I got enough slippers in the house. So squash it for us. We need some ideas.
Man, that's a tough question, because it depends on the guy. I mean, I'm a more practical person, so you know, I think like, hey, just give me something that we need around the house, and I'm content. Some guys might want to be pampered. I don't. Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, some guys, like, you know, they might want the new pair. Might want the new pair of Jordan or LeBron, so get that for them, or I don't know. Well, this is June, so there's not really, like, 2K won't come out. So I mean, it just depends on the person. So I mean, like I said, for myself, I'm the type of person that I like experiences better than physical gifts. So let's go somewhere. Like, I don't know. I love traveling, and so we you know, you can say, hey, look, you can book me a trip to the Mexico, go to Cancun. But if you can't do that though, we can go out to eat. That's all I have to say. We can go out to eat. Yeah, pick up a gift card for his favorite restaurant, or I don't know. I guess it depends if he's high maintenance or not. That's all that's all I can say.
So this is a good one too. Should we ask or should we just do?
Ask.
Ask. Okay. Just
like, what do you want?
So that way he can't be disappointed when it comes down to Happy Father's Day.
Right. You're like, hey, what do you want? And I mean, he might just say, I don't know, but just press him a little bit. He'll say, what about? Let me ask you this question: should we ask or should we just know?
Well, sometimes us as mothers, we throw hints.
Okay.
So when it gets down to actual, so say it's April, we start saying, oh, that bag sure did look nice at the store. Have you seen that bag? Or, you know, I realized that I really like red roses. It's something that I've been seeing about red roses nowadays that, I just been, attracted to. Or we'll say things like, sometimes we'll come out of acts, and then sometimes us as mothers can be very stubborn. We say, hey, hubby, you've been around me so much, you should be able to read my mind. What do you think I want or need, or what have I been talking about? And we expect you guys to come out with the wow. So I'll be the first to say that I don't think it's always fair, but those are just things that we do. And if all else fails, act.
I will say this: I have seen my wife do that sometimes, hint at things. And I'll just come right out and ask you, like, you want that?
Yeah.
But if we hadn't been paying attention, then you say, well, you should know, and then I'm like, oh gosh, I'm in trouble now.
Yeah, we'll hit that really quick, really quick. For some of our village moms that are on, if you guys have any different suggestions as it relates to how you would like to be, or some ideas as it relates to gifts for fathers, that would definitely be appreciated. And Miss Brandy said all true facts. I definitely agree. So thank you guys for being awesome mind readers. we appreciate, from that particular standpoint. So before we get off the live, I want to know, do you guys have any upcoming events over at Supportive Fathers, or anything we should be on the lookout for?
As far as like events or anything like that, because I'm still trying to figure everything out. I do have, mainly just running a blog, but I'm thinking I'm going to start doing some more Instagram Live and trying to incorporate different people, different perspectives. We can always, if there's some hot burning topic that you want to talk about, or myself, we can always reconvene and chat. I do have a certain project that I'm going to work on, but I can't release the details just yet.
Okay.
But it's something that I'm considering, and I think it'll help me differentiate from other father blogs as well. Just because as far as like women and men, I guess that'll be your hint. We got to work together as a team, and so because at the end of the day, we want to preserve our relationship and have that be as strong, and two, help it's about our children now, and making sure that we give them the best opportunity to succeed. So I'm going to be working on a different project with that, and we'll see where that goes. And I'm hoping to be able to release that here in the next few weeks. So we'll stay tuned, and we'll be able to do so. Now, and I'll ask you, what should I look out for over at a Village Mom?
Well, a Village Mom has so many things going on, and we are expanding from a following standpoint. We are getting more out in the community as, the things start to open up. My birthday is coming up in July, so I plan to celebrate by doing a Mother's Field Day. So if any of our followers are in Atlanta and would love to participate, definitely shoot me a DM, and I would love to invite and have you guys out. Tomorrow is Juneteenth, and we will be celebrating via a sale on our website, where we'll have apparel that you could purchase and or self-care acts such as candles and mugs. And so definitely be on the lookout to support from that particular standpoint. And as always, if we have somebody that is willing to come and chat with us on Thursday, shoot me a DM, because we would definitely love to have you on our live session, which is called Village Collaborative. And so that's pretty much what's going over at a Village. If you have any suggestions or things that you feel like would be beneficial for us as moms, I am open to that. You now have my email and phone number, and I'll always be a supportive mother from a Instagram standpoint. And like I said, it becomes bigger than what we even see at this moment, I'll be there as well. I'll fly up to Ohio and we'll 5K run, whatever you want to do. A village will be there to support you because, as always, our fathers are definitely appreciated.
Of course.
And
I
so,
appreciate it.
yes, thank you, thank you. But before we get off the line, when we have our lives, we have a first thought game that we generally do with our participants. So I want to do that with you. But also something that came to mind is, again, we have you on. This is the first time we've had a father on our live. It's always just been women. So again, I am here to support you. And I was so excited, and I'm still excited to have you on today. But let's take a moment of silence for our fathers who have passed away due to violence with everything that's going on. It'll definitely be brief, but if you would just please bow your head with me to show respect, that would definitely be appreciated. So we're going to go ahead and start now. Everybody head down, please. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say amen to seal the deal. I would like to send my condolences to everyone who have lost a father during this time or even before this time. I pray that you are eased on Sunday and that everything is filled with love, joy, and memories of your loved one, and that they will truly, be missed. And we respect everything, and we'll continue to support those who were lost in violence via rallying and things like that. So again, thank you, and let's get ready for our first thought game. Cameron, are you ready?
I'm ready. I feel honored to be the first father interviewed. I feel really honored. Thank you for picking me.
Yes, of course. So are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm an extrovert.
Okay. That's good, because believe it or not, I'm an introvert.
Okay. That's all right.
Okay. Yes. So what was your favorite childhood activity?
Favorite childhood activity? There's so many good ones though. I remember back in the day being in my yard, like we would get all the kids in the neighborhood, we would have like a big kickball game. Like everybody either come over to my house, we had a decent sized field, or we would go down the street and we would just play kickball. So anytime that if now as an adult, anytime the kickball game popped off, I'm like ready. Like hey, let's go. It brings back some great memories for sure.
Good. Well, let me ask you this as it relates to that. Do you guys have adult kickball leagues in Ohio?
That I'm not sure, because I'm not from around the Columbus area. Like I said, I'm from up north, and I lived in Pennsylvania, and then I was in Virginia last year. So this is my first year back in Ohio. So, but around this part of Ohio, I'm not 100% sure, but I'll have to check it out to see if there is.
I was going to say, we as adults have the best time as it relates. I'm a kickball fan too. I'm not in a league or anything like that, but just to hear, the conversations, the love that surrounds it, and to actually let go of your problems and get out there and just have some, competitive fun is always good. So, what is the most memorable lesson that you learned from your parents?
Most memorable lesson. I think my mom always instilled in me that just to be a go-getter. If you want something in your life, you got to go after it. So she's always pushed me to be able to do and achieve anything from a very young age. She was always like, hey, you can, if you want to be in this activity. So she's letting me play baseball. I played soccer like a year in high school, and I was in marching band and all that. So, and on top of that, she I don't know, she just always pushed me to do my best. And I remember I was like a little afraid to leave my hometown once I graduated high school, but she's like, you gotta go off to college. Like, you're not gonna stay around here. As much as I know that probably pained her for me to leave, she's like, I want you to be able to have different experiences being away because I want you to make the most of your life. Because my mom had me when she was 19, so she was she was young, so and she kind of lived through me. So I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've taken away from her.
Wow, wow. So, I know this might be off topic, but did you grow up with any mentors that kind of helped you be this successful? Because I'm sure you're doing a wonderful job, and just the thought of, being here and supporting other fathers and being that channel, you are now mentor to a lot of people. So do you have anyone that you look up to from that particular standpoint?
I say, like, when I was younger, things on my street changed, but when I was younger, there was a lot of families that been on the street that from when my grandma were a kid, my grandma was a kid, and so it was kind of like we could go and knock on someone's door and we can go visit with them, and they always looked out for us, and so and I don't know if I felt like a lot of the families that, at least at the time when I was growing up, when I was younger, it was like they were like extended family. Like we had spent like Thanksgiving together. I spent so much time with those people, and even to this day, some of them have passed away, but to this day, I still keep in contact with them. I call them as much as I can. And so, because I have so much respect for them. So, in a sense, those were some of my mentors. They're people that were looked at like they babysat my mom, but I still love them very dearly because I don't know, maybe I wouldn't be where I'm at without those people.
Right, right. It definitely takes a village. That's why I love our name so much, because I mean it has helped so many people. It's a part of everybody's story. So we are a village collection, a
Mm-hmm.
community built to uplift and inspire mothers, now fathers within our community. But we're gonna hurry up and get out this line because I'm pretty sure you have other things to do. But do you have a specific quote that you live by?
Um, a specific quote. Um, I'll say this one, okay? Because like I told you before, I'm a high school counselor. I think in the age of social media, this is very, very prevalent, and it pertains to this. And for us to reach our maximum potential, I'm a big believer of making sure you focus on yourself. So the quote is, "Don't compare yourself to someone else's highlight reel." And what that means to me, and how I interpret that is, you go on Instagram and you might see, oh, well, that person's doing that. This person's doing this. Why am I not doing that? And then that's kind of when that anxiety and that what questioning and self-doubt creeps in. And so it's so important to understand that and even as men, we compare ourselves to other men. And I'm sure women do that within themselves. It's important to, if you're going to compare yourself from yesterday. What am I doing better today to help better myself and make myself be the best version of myself? So that's a quote I live by. I share that with my students all the time because they'll say, "Well, I saw her on Instagram, and man, why couldn't I do that?" And I'm just like, "Hey, hold on. That person still has trials and tribulations just like you do. We kind of we just put the highlights up, and you're comparing yourself to that. And you have other things in your life that you should be grateful for, and that you should really embrace and love, whether you have your parents or whoever. And just remember what you have." And so that's a quote that I would throw it out there for everyone.
I like it. It's perfect. Definitely for the times that we're going through. Don't compare yourself to someone else's highlight. I like that. That's a really good one. I'm definitely gonna have to put that up and make sure that that's one of the key lessons that us mothers know, and definitely us fathers. So when they click on the link from this
Mm-hmm.
particular live on today, that will definitely be one of the takeaway messages that I would love for them to have. This is my last question for you, and I end this with everyone that joins us on a Village Live.
Okay.
And I tell myself I am that mom. I tell my mothers in the village that they are that mom, and what that mom is basically a confidence booster.
Hmm.
Whatever you're going through, you've already had that child. You are that mom only. And so my question to you is, what makes you that dad?
What makes me that dad? Oh man. Um, that's a good question. What makes me that dad? I'm that dad that whether I don't know, I'm that dad that's just gonna be there. No matter what, nothing's gonna stop me from making sure I'm there for my child. I'm that dad that's going to do my best to make her dreams come true and give her the best opportunity to succeed. So that I would say it makes me that dad. If I have to, if I,
Good.
I'm gonna protect her and do whatever I can to make sure that she's okay.
Good. And that's your promise. And we're going to end on that note. Thank you, Mr. Cameron, so much